Hi students, so we are going to look at the first practice question. So in the course web I have given you the particular data set. So open the car sales data first. Okay, and after you have opened the car sales data, the first step is that we are going to visualize the data set. So let me share the car sales data set with y'all. So I hope all of you can see the car sale data. So the data is given for quarterly basis. That means for 1 year, they have given us the sales data for uh, 4 periods. All right. Uh, so uh, this is the car sales data. So as you all can see per year, the car sales data is given for 4 times. That means it's given quarterly basis. So the first point is that first step is that we are going to visualize the data set. So in order to visualize the data set, go to insert and choose this particular chart, line with markers. So when you choose line with markers, by default, Excel gives us this particular chart, this particular output. So now we are going to choose the data set. We are going to remove everything given in this chart. So in order to do that, go to design and go to select data. So here we are going to first of all remove everything. Remove everything. Now we are going to tell Excel what sort of a chart we need. So here we are going to add, go to add, and the series name is sales. So we are going to add the series values, choose from year 1 quarter first sales data to year 4 quarter 4 sales data. Okay, now click OK. So now you have come up with the chart. So look at uh, here we have sales thousands. Its sales are given in thousands, and this side we have the sales data, and to this side we need to have the time period. That means year 1 quarter 1, year 1 quarter 2. So the reason is because when we look at the x-axis, we can't uh, at once say what does this value 6 means. So value 6 simply means that year 2 quarter 2 data. So here we have year 2 quarter 2 data. So rather than having it understood from a chart like this, it's more clear if we have the x-axis renamed as year 1 quarter 1 as such. Okay, so in order to do that, go to select data. So go to horizontal category. So go here. So here, as the horizontal axis label range, choose this label. Okay. From like this, without choosing the labels, choose this particular data and click OK. All right. So I hope you can see the screen. So here we have edit the axis, and we have sales data to this side. And now we have to, rather than having it the chart name as sales, we'll have it as time series plot of sales. Time series plot of sales. So what we have done here is that we have visualized this particular data set that were in value in a chart so that it is more visual for us. The pattern is more clear. So what is the reason? Why are we doing this time series analysis? What is our ultimate objective? So what we want is that we want to predict year 5 sales for year 5 quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 and quarter 4. So that is our ultimate objective. So in order to do that, the first step is that we are going to visualize the particular data set as in to see what sort of a pattern has been there in the past 4 years, because we are given data set for data for past 4 years for each quarter. So when you look at this particular chart, this particular time series plot of sales, what can you all see? So here in the pattern, you all can see first there is a dip and there is a climax. Again, when it comes to year 2, there is a dip and there is a climax. There is a dip and there is a climax. So what we call this particular uh, this pattern is that the dip and the climax. We call it as the seasonal factor. So these are some of the factors that you have to study when it comes to time series plot. So what is meant by this particular dip climax, you all can see there is a short-term regular wave-like pattern. So we call this particular factor as the seasonal factor. Sometimes this might happen monthly or quarterly. So after the first quarter, there is a dip in the sales. Again, when it comes to second quarter to third quarter, y'all can see there is a climax. Each year, y'all can see this particular pattern has been continued. So this factor in the time series plot, we call it as the seasonal factor. The reason why this happens may be because during the sunny season, a hotel will record a high level of sale. Maybe because of that. Or maybe since this is with regards to car sales, maybe in a particular quarter of the year, the sales goes up. Maybe there are various reasons. Okay. Maybe if it is an apparel company, we know when it comes to the months like March and April, the sales goes up. So that pattern remains unchanged because that is the human behavior. So if we are going to take the sales value for an apparel company year-wise on quarterly basis, you all can see from first quarter to second quarter, there is a climax. The reason would be because of the festive season. Is it clear? Is this particular, I hope this is clear. So you can go through the lecture slides also. And also, when you look at this particular chart, you all can see if you ignore these particular fluctuations, still there is a upward, there is a increasing trend. We call this particular factor as the trend. So long run increase or decrease over time, overall upward or downward movement, we call it as the trend. So here we all can see there is a upward trend. And the third factor is the irregular or random factor. So here, even though I have told you that there is a drop and there is a climax, there are some random variabilities as well. So that factor, we call it as the random factor in the time series plot. Random factor, or else we also call it as the irregular factor. So when we look at the real life situation, there are no perfect time series plots. There are no smooth plots. So always the particular data set would be associated with a particular irregular or a random factor. Is it clear? There is another factor when it comes to time series plot. We call it as the cyclical factor. But we can see the cyclical factor when we consider a set of data, a data set for a very long time period, very longer time period. So here we have considered only 4 years now. So if we had considered this particular data set for 20 years of time, we can see this long-term wave-like pattern. That we call it as cyclical factor, but we can't see the cyclical factor in this particular example. So you can read about the cyclical factors when you are referring the lecture slides. So how many factors we have learned when it comes to time series plot? In this particular example, we can see 3 factors. First one was the seasonal factor, the drop, climax, and the trend factor where we can see an upward movement of the sales values. And the third one has been the irregular factor. So in the real life situation, we can't see smooth curves. So the reason is because of the irregular or the random factor. So I hope it's understood. Now the